My husband pressed his lips gently to my shoulder before quietly stepping away. He had his moment, and now he was allowing me to witness what would come next. The silence enveloped the room, yet I sensed the change beneath the surface. They stood prepared, just within reach. He leaned in again, his voice calm and unwavering. Delight in it. Before we dive in, I kindly ask you to take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your swift and effortless support significantly contributes to the growth of this channel. It genuinely creates an impact. I appreciate your presence. Let us commence. He revealed everything without reservation. His body melded intimately with the rhythm, breath hitching with each fluid motion. The sheets ride beneath us, moist and adhering to our skin. My legs coiled around him. Reluctance gripped my heart as I faced the inevitable farewell. He kissed me, slowly and intensely, as if he were pouring every part of himself into that moment. His hand remained steady at my waist, clutching as though I might disappear if he didn't hold on with enough strength. It was a crescendo, his concentration, his dedication, the manner in which he poured forth every ounce of his being. As it drew to a close, he fell beside me, his chest heaving, skin warm and glistening with sweat. The ceiling loomed above me as I struggled to regain my breath. Yet, beneath the surface, a quiet turmoil persisted. A relentless fire continued to smolder. I faced him, my body resonating with a delightful ache. Once more? I murmured. His eyes fluttered open, revealing the world anew. He offered a gentle smile, weary yet tender. Please hold on for just a moment. He made an effort. Indeed, he truly did. He pressed his lips to my shoulder, his fingertips trailing down my spine, then turned, easing back into the space that separated us, this time with a deliberate slowness, his mouth finding its way to my neck. I embraced him once more, mirrored his motions, remained by his side, encouraging him with my presence, yet I sensed it, the uncertainty in his cadence, the faltering of his breath, the gradual loss of his strength, muscles struggling to maintain the tempo. Yet I embraced him tightly, pressing my lips to his cheek, tracing along his jaw, and finally meeting his mouth. "It's all right," I murmured. He gazed at me, a mixture of remorse and determination flickering in his eyes, yet I felt no disappointment, for my love for him remained steadfast, and I recognized his struggle. He remained by my side, a lingering warmth, an intimate closeness, yet nestled deep within me. Something else lingered, neither doubt nor emptiness, but a profound hunger, not due to any fault of his own, but rather because I was never finished. He mentioned it the following morning. In the kitchen, I cradled my second cup of coffee, still enveloped in the warmth of his t-shirt from the night prior. He entered, hair disheveled, eyes barely open, yet there was a certain intensity in his gaze, an air of incompleteness lingering about him. He rested against the counter, his gaze lingering on me for a moment longer than necessary before he finally spoke. Have you ever experienced that nagging sensation of inadequacy, as if you simply don't measure up? The question arrived with a gentle touch, devoid of defensiveness or insecurity, simply embodying openness and curiosity. I locked eyes with him, but that wasn't the answer. He nodded slowly, yet I can sense your lingering hunger, palpable and visible. I paused before responding, cradling the mug's rim, its warmth enveloping my hands. "It's not about you," I finally admitted. "You offer me everything, and I sense it deeply. I cherish that." He moved in closer, yet it remained insufficient. I gazed at him, truly gazed, and there was no shame in his voice, only truth, along with perhaps something more, something profound that remained unspoken. I inhaled deeply. "I seek more not due to your shortcomings, but simply because I desire it." He nodded once more, lost in contemplation. What if there existed a path to grant you that, all while preserving the bond we share? Would you embrace it? I remained still, silent, yet my gaze held firm. That was sufficient. He extended his hand over the counter, enveloping mine with a tender grip, his fingers curling softly around my own. Though his words remained unspoken, I sensed it deeply within me. He was already contemplating the how. 2 days later, he returned from work accompanied by 5 unfamiliar men. Without a hint or a word of clarification, they entered quietly behind him, exuding an air of belonging, their smiles polite and nods gracious as they removed their shoes, coats already half unbuttoned. I found myself in the kitchen, clutching a half-chopped onion in my hand. "Oh, dinner isn't quite ready yet," I mentioned. "That's all right," he responded, placing his keys on the table. "They haven't come for dinner." The 5 men lounged around the table, an air of familiarity enveloping them as if this gathering was a well-rehearsed ritual. Their conversation was sparse, filled with fleeting remarks about work, the traffic, and a tidbit from the news. Yet, I sensed it, the way their gazes continually sought me out. Not in a disrespectful manner, nor overtly assertive, simply observant. He uncorked a bottle of wine, filled a glass, and presented it to me. "Are you all right?" he inquired. I nodded, though the response lingered longer than intended. His fingers brushed against my waist, lingering for a heartbeat, before he leaned closer and murmured softly, "They have come for you." Time slipped through my fingers before I could respond. The words lingered in the atmosphere, suspended and palpable. "They have come to support you." As my husband entered the room, he leaned in and pressed his lips against mine. It was a kiss that held no softness, no trace of hesitation. It was complete, steadfast, as if he required me to sense his presence before anything else could unfold. The 5 men remained silent. They occupied the space across the room, positioned along the distant wall beyond the open kitchen. The dim light illuminated their faces, inquisitive, intent, enigmatic. Their gaze remained fixed upon me. My husband's hands glided with a deliberate slowness. One glided beneath the hem of my shirt, while the other found its place at my waist. With a deft motion, he draped the fabric over my head, his movements fluid and assured. With a calm assurance, he extended his hand behind me and deftly unfastened the clasp with a gentle flick. His lips glided softly over my collarbone, his breath a warm, steady whisper. I yielded without a fight. He led me in reverse, drawing me closer to the counter. Each movement was intentional, unhurried, rooted in the present, as if he desired this moment to be witnessed in silence. In a deliberate, almost cinematic manner, he gradually removed my layers, one by one, until the gentle touch of fabric ceased to exist between us. The cool marble brushed against my skin, sending a shiver coursing through my body. He withdrew a fraction, allowing the essence of the moment to wash over him before leaning in once more. His hands glided over my thighs. His lips traced the same route, deliberate and unhurried. As his lips met mine with purpose, I released a breath, not in haste, but in a deliberate, measured exhalation that had long been held within. He remained steadfast, anchored in his purpose. His touch moved with a serene, contemplative rhythm. He moved at a measured pace. He was being genuine. His movements carried a certain sincerity, as if he sought to communicate solely through his very being. I steadied myself, fingers gripping the edge that lay just behind me. A gentle warmth enveloped me, building gradually, each layer wrapping around my senses. Every instant drew me further into tranquility. I was not in captivity. I found myself under the gaze of an observer. In the stillness of the room, a palpable tension hung in the air as I sensed the weight of their gazes upon me. Their presence lingered in the atmosphere, undeniable and compelling. My husband stayed near, completely engaged, never faltering in our shared cadence. His deliberate actions crafted an atmosphere that was both subtle and unmistakable. In that moment, as if compelled by an unseen force, my body leaned toward him, as though the very laws of gravity had been rewritten. As he finally withdrew, he ascended with deliberate slowness, his lips grazing my stomach, then my chest, and finally the delicate curve just beneath my jaw. He assisted me in turning, softly directing me to lean against the countertop. My body moved in harmony with his guidance. My arms came to rest. My back arched gracefully, my breath measured yet light. It was then that I beheld them, the 5 men, no longer motionless. They settled into their seats, jackets loosened, their postures evolving. Time seemed to stand still, and silence enveloped the moment. The atmosphere in the room had transformed, concentrated, purposeful, heavy with silence. My husband positioned himself behind me. His hands found their way back to my hips, anchoring me in place. He leaned in, each movement measured and intentional. His grip was powerful, and I could sense the confidence in his approach as he drew near, unwavering and resolute. His breath caressed my neck, igniting the palpable tension that hung in the air between us. I flowed with him, attuned to his cadence, allowing the tension to rise gradually between us. His focus enveloped me, his presence palpable, as if he sought to leave no thought unexpressed. I belonged to him, and he desired them to witness that even in this moment. And I allowed them to proceed. A gentle sound slipped from his lips. He descended, paused, then gradually reduced his pace. His forehead leaned gently against my shoulder, his breath steady and deep. His hands glided from my waist with a gentle touch, descending along my sides. He lingered for just a heartbeat more, then withdrew. I remained in my place, motionless, anchored, a hum of energy thrumming just below the exterior. Before me, the 5 men stood in a line, each one distinct, devoid of chaos or haste, yet each moved with a deliberate intent. Jackets slipped from shoulders, sleeves casually rolled, hands deftly adjusted buttons. Once again, my husband leaned in. His lips grazed the curve of my ear, his voice a whisper, filled with delight. Silently, the first one advanced, offering no words. His hands found their place at my waist, and I offered no resistance. He approached with assurance, unwavering and composed. My body responded instinctively, outpacing the thoughts that were still trying to catch up. I inhaled deeply, standing to face him, engulfed by the proximity and the fervor of his stride. He advanced with precision, each movement calculated and intentional. With my hands pressed against the counter, my arms quivered as I fought to maintain my footing. Each movement stirred a wave within, constricting a hidden tension deep within my core. And then it seized me, unexpected, gasping for air. My body tightened, then relaxed as an unexpected sound slipped from my lips. I did not succumb. I blossomed. In that fleeting moment, he withdrew, his essence remaining even as the feeling faded away. Before I had the chance to regain my strength, another figure loomed closer, taller and more imposing. He positioned me with a gentle touch, his hands steady yet cautious, before leaning closer. Once more, I clutched the edge, my knees trembling beneath the weight of the moment. His pace transformed, becoming slower, deeper, and more deliberate. Each movement bore significance, sending ripples of tension coursing through my being. My breath caught in my throat. I remained utterly motionless, anchored by the unwavering aura he exuded. The second wave struck with greater intensity. My thighs trembled, my hands clenched. I grasped at an elusive essence, only to release it, left gasping and unmoored. Yet, that was not the conclusion. The third one took their place next. One hand ascended, curling softly into my hair, tilting me just enough for our eyes to connect. He did not linger. His movements exuded confidence and certainty. My breath came in quick, staccato gasps. My body trembled with every surge of pressure, yet I remained steadfast, refusing to retreat. I embraced it completely. Not out of obligation, but from a deep-seated necessity. It surged over me once more, a cacophony of sound, more powerful and consuming than before. A cry erupted from deep within me as the weight of it all unraveled everything around me. He anchored me as I trembled in his embrace, providing stability while the moment unfolded. They had not yet finished. The fourth entered, and this time, another positioned themselves before me. He gently lifted my chin, pressed his lips to mine in a deep, slow kiss, and then settled himself into position. I embraced him wholeheartedly. He advanced with determination. Everything unfolds at its own pace, naturally and effortlessly. As the individual behind me discovered his rhythm, the one ahead of me mirrored his steps. Their movements harmonized seamlessly, one grounding me with a serene authority, while the other mirrored the cadence I offered him. The pressure escalated swiftly, overwhelming in its force, and when it peaked, I released, the sound deep and muted, trapped in the space between them. As they retreated, the fifth took its position. My body quivered, a tempest of emotions swirling within me, yet I reached for him, aligning with his cadence, allowing the moment to linger once more. Then, without warning, I sensed another presence behind him, not replacing, but rather supporting and enhancing. One of them anchored my hips with a firm touch. Another directed my legs apart. One remained close, his touch gentle, anchoring me. They collaborated, not as a mere blur, but as a unified force flowing through my being. I was not lost. I found myself embraced, enveloped by an unwavering presence, a sense of assurance that anchored me in its embrace. My breath stumbled, my hands faltered. My voice faltered as the cadence between them reached its zenith. There existed a distinct lack of urgency. They glided with perfect precision, and I surrendered to it, unyielding. One of them arrived precisely at the moment I required, igniting a response I found impossible to suppress. It did not ascend slowly. It hit suddenly, as if from nowhere. The ultimate release struck with the force of a thunderbolt. My back arched, my mouth parted, yet silence enveloped me. The impact coursed through every fiber of my being. My limbs surrendered. My body surrendered to the embrace of warmth that enveloped me. I was not in the act of falling. I found myself being lifted and transported. At last, a profound silence enveloped the scene. The weight of anxiety dissipated. With a tender touch, their hands gradually withdrew, mindful and delicate. The atmosphere enveloping me returned to a serene stillness. I remained in that position, bent forward, breath irregular, skin warm, muscles relaxed, a gentle vibration coursing through me, open, complete, and at last serene.